Yo. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Can everyone hear me? Can everyone see the Prime XBT page? Volumes are okay. Music not too loud and all of that. Beautiful. So, how has everyone been doing? I've been pretty ill the last couple days. And still, kind of. But hey, we try our best, you know. Do you know if Crypto Trooper is coming back this cycle? I don't know, man. I messaged him like, but it's already like half a year ago. And he said he would come back soon, but still haven't heard anything. So no clue, man. I would love for him to come back. He's still in behind the scenes though. He's just not posting on Twitter anymore. His last retweet was actually a tweet of me in September 23 when I was targeting 40k Bitcoin. Look. Yeah, played out nicely. He showed me crypto in 2017. Yeah, same here, man. Same here. I would love to get a dip on everything, but honestly, not sure we're gonna get it. Every dip just keeps getting bought up, so once it goes, like, it might get aggressive, in my opinion. But until then, long until wrong, I guess. But we'll get into the charts in a second. I am late. Now we just started, man. Just started 4 or 5 minutes ago. Hello, all the enthusiasts. Would like a deeper flush with a wick to 58 again. Yeah, 58 is kind of low. And that's even below the previous flush we got here. So not sure we're gonna get it, but a flush on these lows would be healthy. Just healthy, you know. Something like this. Not sure we're gonna wick all the way down here. But yeah. Right, so before we get started, thanks to PrimeXBT. As you can see, very clean exchange, very clean UI, where you can trade not only crypto but also forex, commodities, all in a single place. So go check it out. Link is in the description. If you use that link, you can get up to $7,000 in bonuses, as well as get free access to my Discord group. So if you make an account and make a deposit, send me a DM, join the Discord using the link below and send me a DM, and I'll add you to my Discord group, where I post more analysis, more in detail analysis, and trades of mine that I take. We're currently running a 10K account. We're doing pretty good. It's sitting at 23K. So yeah, currently flat on margin. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so big thanks to PrimeXBT. Now, sorry, let's talk about the markets, right? So I personally was long on Sol and on Matic, and I closed those longs this morning, and I reduced exposure on spot as well on my main accounts. Sold some Ethereum, some more, sold some Sol as well after all. Sold my BNB back, my fill back, and what else was it? Let me check. Inch back. Especially BNB wasn't the size that I initially wanted, but remember when I said that I had orders in for a flush? Well, this was my entry, and look at what it did. 70% to the highs. Where did I sell? I'm not sure. Probably around here. So for let's say a 60% gain. Like in a couple days, that's amazing, you know. And I think it's just time for the market in general to cool off a bit. I don't know, it's just a feeling. Everything seems to go too easy at the moment, and very often when that's the case, we get a flush, right? So I sold this BNB back to have some ammo left, to have some more ammo. I did already have some, because of selling some Bitcoin in the 60Ks and some Ethereum above the 4Ks. So sold this back, sold Inch as well. Really nice breakout on the Inch though, trading at all-time highs. Weekly close this week. So as you can see, average entry was also right here, so sold for a really nice profit. Let me remove all of these. This as well. So weekly close for Inch will probably be very key. Like if we break back within this range, right, then I think we don't look that good, and I could see us return to these lows. As long as we hold above here and we close a weekly up here, I could see this start rallying very hard, just like we've seen Sol doing. So definitely want to keep an eye on, maybe not for spot, but just to look for some longs, breakout longs. Let's see. Anyways, for my spot back, I'm out at the moment. And then lastly, fill, right? Exactly the same average entry down there. All these bags were very slow, by the way. It might seem like I got these goat entries, but all I did was basically set a bunch of orders, keeping it to my normal risk, right? And when you get a wick, some of them will fill and it will seem like your entry is very, very nice, but like I had orders down here as well, all the way until here. So these bags are not that big, you know, but it's still a good way to just, I mean, basically instant get some profit out of the markets, right? And then just like I did now, you sell them and do exactly the same over and over again. So once again, sold this as well. Ammo left to buy lower in case we dip. Nothing's guaranteed, of course. But that's this. Then Ethereum as well, bought on the wick down. Let me take the Binance charts. On this one, what I've been saying is I will be reducing risk above this high. That was my main target for spot. Well, my first target, obviously my main target would be much higher, above 8k, above 7k, let's say, ideally. But just like I did with Bitcoin, I'm reducing 30 to 40% of my spot exposure in this gray area. So this morning I sold some more. I don't think this is a bad area to reduce some risk on spot bags, okay? Like if you feel underexposed to the market, like sure, hold it in case we rip fully higher. But if you've been in spot from all the way down here and on Bitcoin from yeah, let's say sub 30k even is amazing. Even better sub 20k, but then you're already sitting at say you bought those lows like 180%. That's amazing, you know. So never a bad idea to take some off at least. So that's what I did. Bitcoin, as I said, I'm just holding, already reduced 30% of my spots and planning to do so again at 90 to 100k, but obviously still a long way to go until we're there. But for Ethereum, right, pretty much lagging compared to Bitcoin, but also sitting at resistance here, right? This bigger 2021 range with this as the highs and this as the lows. High swept, low swept, clean highs right below weekly supply here, and we just pumped in there without a lot of retraces on the weekly, like just straight up. It only feels normal to at least take some off, okay? We also swept last week's high. We're below, trading below it. I'm sorry. Trading below it. So yeah, I wouldn't be expected to see some downside on the whole market, which is the exact reason why I tweeted about it this morning as well. Reducing exposure. I've got MO left in case we flush, and in case we don't, so be it as well, you know. Still have enough exposure on Ethereum, Bitcoin and Sol in case the markets decide to keep going. That's pretty much the way I like to play these kind of conditions, like use the high caps, Ethereum, Bitcoin and Sol as a longer term hold, and then just play the smaller alts on the lower time frames and use those to reduce on upside, reduce risk on upside and add risk on flushes. And that's exactly how I played it during the previous flush, and it played out beautifully. So that's exactly what I'm planning to do again. Set orders in case we get a big dump, then add exposure, and then when markets go into up only again, slowly start reducing exposure until you see signs of weakness, okay? And like, to be honest, I wouldn't say these are signs of weakness yet in the markets. Like, it's just going up only, higher highs, higher lows, but to me it just feels like it's way too easy at the moment to sort of make money in this market. Everything's been going up relentlessly, which is why for me it only feels normal to take some off again. And yes, we could go for the highs again and wick into, I don't know, 75, right? But risking that amount of profits in case we do this, like if we do this and flush sub 66, alts will probably die again. So you know what I mean? It's not worth holding for that, like, what is it? couple of more percentages on Bitcoin and on altcoins to risk a bigger flush like this. And if so, we keep going up. Like, ideal scenario, we keep going up, you know. But yeah, that's just not really how it works. So that's what I'm watching for Bitcoin, right? Clean lows below. So if we get a flush, I'll be looking at the sub 66k area to look to add back to especially alts at that point. Might also add on some Bitcoin again, because that would be a nice entry in my opinion. But I'll be mostly focusing on alts. Okay, is that clear for everyone? MJAK, what's up? Dusk, what's up? Mentor, what's up? Uli. We'll do requests after a bit. Liquors are inevitable, but will we set a new record? I don't know, no clue. That's a question that doesn't really matter, you know. We'll see if it comes. Is your RR fixed and why? What do you mean? Kind of crazy that we are talking about support in the 70s. Yeah, that's still crazy to me as well. It's like opening your phone and opening a tracker app or even just TradingView and seeing Bitcoin at 70k. It's crazy. If we get sub 66, I'm 2x longing Dovey, I guess you mean doggy, and logging off for a minute. Sure, go for it. Mamma mia, what a day. Perfect. What do you think about the market? How would you advise if you had some leverage longs already? I have Sol and AVAX long both doing well at the moment. Well, it depends, you know. For me personally, so I was swing long on Solana as well, like I said, but on the challenge account. Like, that's just a fun account to me for now, and I'm just trying to run that up. But my real positions at the moment are all spot, and that's how I like playing market conditions like this. You don't need margin in cases like this unless you're starting with a low portfolio, like let's say sub 10k or something. Then it makes sense to do that. But if you have a decent portfolio, you don't need leverage at the moment. Like, just buy spots and ride them into new highs. So that's the reason I closed my Sol margin longs, because it's just a fun account and we pumped a lot, and it's just not worth holding for me in case we wick down, right? And because I still have big spot backs on Sol. But if you don't have that spot portfolio and you're swing long on Sol from, let's say, I don't know, from somewhere here or even from here, like, then it makes sense to hold. Then it makes a lot of sense to hold, and it's the same with all others, you know. Do you aim for a specific risk reward? Usually I go for 2R minimum, but in general I focus more on probability and not on risk rewards. If your probability is high enough, you're fine with a 1.5 hour risk, in my opinion. I wouldn't want to trail my stop too low and they're holding strong. I rather not close. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, if you're in a position that looks like this or something, like, yeah, then obviously you want to trail some off. But if you're in a swing position that looks, I don't know, like this, and you're targeting like 270 or something, then it makes sense to hold, you know, because you then likely will survive the flush if it comes. So it depends. I don't really trade with FVGs. Gotcha, thanks, no worries. Say and Sui. We'll take a look at some alts in a second. Plunge protection. I longed the 50-minute on ETH, but not the best reaction yet. Nah, I think we nuke, honestly. Market looks heavy to me. This 3-day candle is also not the best. You see, no wick to the downside on that daily. See, this daily is just not looking healthy. Weekly, previous week's high, initially support, but we'll have to see how the weekly closes. If the weekly closes in the red, I could see a much bigger retrace. I could see us trade all the way back to 50Ks. Why not, you know? Be open to anything. It's difficult in times like these, you know? You see reasons everywhere to be max bullish. Everyone's buying. Spot ETF inflows at an all-time high, but those things will change. And whenever they change, it will already be too late. Think about that. The news always comes later, you know? It's like we always have bearish news on the way up and bullish news on the way down. This FTX crash news marked the bottom, you know? So you better bet whenever, I don't know, you know, I'm not saying I'm max bearish here, not at all, you know. I'm just saying, for example, when ETF inflows start going down or start reducing, Bitcoin will probably already be down like, yeah, I don't know, like 15% by then, so it will already be too late. But yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, if we dump on this weekly, that would mean we swept all-time highs there, swept last week's high, and broke back below last week's high. At that point, I could see us dump all the way to here. Something like this. And then maybe range for a little longer. I definitely see that this as a potential scenario. Bitcoin liquidations coming through. Yeah, I mean, this is nothing yet. I wouldn't be surprised if we trade towards 65 in the coming days. People are now celebrating the money inflow to the Bitcoin ETFs, but it's going to keep in mind that those investors can also easily sell their ETF and force the managers to sell Bitcoin. I mean, yeah, anything can happen. What are your thoughts on 2x rather than spot? Sure, why not? That makes sense. if you don't have that much money, yeah? Do you think it's smart to place multiple smaller bets at key support levels if you can't watch price constantly? Yeah, I mean, also why not? You just need to be ready in case you flush, like be ready for a 30% dump on those bits, you know? If they're all gonna get filled and liquidated within the same candles, yeah, then you're doing something wrong. But placing orders for situations like that is definitely a good play. What's up, Cunning George? Leave a like, guys, if you're enjoying the stream. We've got more than 100 people watching, which is amazing. Let's get the likes to 40. I'm not sure the high is in, but I wouldn't be surprised because we're below the what's this? That's former all-time high. That's last week's high. Last week's high. That's that daily low. Wait, no. That's the weekly. What's that? Oh yeah, this one. It's less significant, as you can see on the daily, right? That's a good example why this low is gonna be more key. We want to be targeting this more isolated on lower time frames. So what was I saying? Yeah, we're below the daily open, which means that the invalidation right here could be very tight on shorts. Local sweep there. But yeah, obviously it will depend on probably the inflows again. And like I've been saying, once again, I'm not shorting it. It's not worth it. But it's just good to keep in mind to be cautious, right? I'm saying the same things over and over again, but this would make sense to me. Have you bought any Solana memes? Nah, I'm not really into that. It's like gambling, nah? I mean, why not? Sure, but not really my thing. So once again, I don't think it's worth shorting this. And I think it's almost never worth shorting in market conditions like this. But what is worth it and what do I use this for is simply to be cautious in the market and to reduce some spot exposure and to be ready in case big liquidations come and we cascade down and we get a leverage flush. Make sense? It's kind of weird how slow it's moving after breaking all-time highs. No, I wouldn't say so. Why is it weird? Like everyone looks probably looks at previous all-time highs, and every time we did it back then, we squeezed hard and pumped a lot higher. But that doesn't mean it needs to do the same right now, right? And I also feel it's just big spot buys that come in on every small dip, ramping the market higher and higher and higher. So where are we gonna... That's why I'm saying I wouldn't take this setup, but you could as well do something like this and then another high, come back down, another high, and then maybe a cascade to the upside and then a flush to the downside. Like, I don't know. 30% is around 50k. Makes sense if people get fearful. Sure. Don't you think you aren't paying attention to macroeconomics as much as you should? I don't know, man. I've never been really into that shit. And it has worked better for me to just not giving a fuck about it than to look into it. Like, what were the macro... That's exactly the same like what I just said. Whenever it's too late, it's whenever it happens, it's already gonna be too late. What were these macroeconomics down here, you know? I just like focusing on like sentiment, what the masses are thinking on Bitcoin, and the charts. That's what I'll use. Macro is a scam until it's not. Yeah. Doggy holding strong during this sell-off. Last bull run you thought Bitcoin will tag 20k, then go back to its mid-range. Saw the price before the new. Ready, set, go. Weekly looks like a rocket trail. Yeah, maybe not for much longer. Let's see what it does here. Scalping best tips. Don't I'm 95% sure the reason you ask this is because you think scalping is making money fast. And if you're thinking like that, it's better to just don't do it at all. It's the case for, like, I was like that as well when I just started. I was like, ooh, the lower time frames, scalping, then I can enter 10 setups every day. It's gonna be quick money. Yeah. I'm so lost right now with how you are continuing with range theory in this bull run. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I am, but it's different in market conditions like this for sure, you know. But liquidity will always be the same. Targeting key highs on the high time frame, targeting key lows, look for entries on the lower time frame, range low sweeps, and target the highs. I remember watching your old live streams in 21 when Bitcoin broke all-time high and you still thought it'll retap mid-range. Can you explain why? Because it confuses me. I don't know what you mean with that. In 2021. You mean from this breakout? In 21 when we broke all-time high. I don't know what you mean. When people say they trade on 1 to 5 minute time frames, how do they do it? Because in my opinion, with the high time frame levels always have precedence over low time frame. So if you, for example, take a long low time frame but high time frame is bearish. I mean, I know some people who nail it on the low time frames, but it's, in my opinion, it's very difficult. The higher the time frame, the easier the trades. And that's not only because of the time frame itself, but also because letting the trade play out on the higher time frames will give you less stress and emotions within that time, you know. On the 4 hour, it will take much more time for you to get stopped out, so you'll be relaxed in your mind and think about your position and think about if you're doing good, if you're doing something wrong, you know. While on the 5 minutes, if you get stopped, you will also much faster revenge trade and start over trading and try again and try again and try again. I mean, we're seeing some downside, but it's not really the amount I want. I want much lower. But it's a good thing that we reduced exposure, right? BNB nuking. Inch is strong. I'll take a look at this for potential dip buys if Bitcoin flushes. You want to be looking at the strongest ones, you know, and Inch for sure is one of them. Maybe if you get lucky, a sweep of this on a flush, something like this. I'll definitely look at that. What's Sol doing? Yeah, also down quite a bit. Also glad I took profits at the highs. But hey, it's nothing yet, you know. But do you feel like you're not perma bull enough for this bull run? Aren't we supposed to our expectations getting nowhere near reality prices at the top? I mean, yes, your mentality should be different in bull runs, you know. You cannot have the same mentality in a bull run than in a bear market or in a ranging market, because indeed it doesn't make any sense in a bull run how things can go up, how fast things can go up. But that, I think I'm doing that pretty good until now. Yeah, well, I'm gonna be looking to buy Inch if this happens. Link was strong. Yeah, Doggy. I've just been reducing exposure on every major breakout on the weekly. initially I started reducing, like I'm in doggy from here, you know, and I started reducing above these range highs, sold like half, above here sold half again, and now next for me is all the way up here. So that's like, if it nukes now, I'll buy more. If it goes up, so be it. I'm still in. Let's see, inch demand. This was the latest SFP that led to the breakout above this range. So any dip in here, in my opinion, is a must hold. So let's say you long there, that would be beautiful. Long up here, yeah, then it's not. Then you'd have to keep your stops like right here. But not sure that that's safe with Bitcoin looking like this. You've helped me a lot. Glad to hear, man. I want to buy 0.11, 0.13 on doggy. .11. Oof, yeah. That would for sure be a good entry, but not sure you're getting that. But it depends, you know, if Bitcoin goes back to this blue area, which is definitely possible. Where do alts go? I feel if Bitcoin poops, I can get it, we'll see. Yeah, but then you want Bitcoin to nuke very hard, right? Like for doggy to go sub 0.12, I mean, it would be a lovely entry if you get it, but all the way here, I don't know, man. But indeed, we'll see. It's Pablo Disco Bar. How are you? Litecoin. Where's Litecoin? I mean, fuck Litecoin. This one has hurt me a lot, but overall, purely TA, I mean, it pumped right into resistance and is not looking that good to me. But if you get a dip towards here, for example, that might be a really good buy. But overall, I would say just don't touch Litecoin because like it's been lagging behind for so much, for so long. Like if Litecoin pulls a move, everything will likely do so. But yeah, overall, I think above 130 comes before sub this area. So if you get a flush in here, might be a good buy to target 140, somewhere around there after. Yeah, it's Litecoin, you know, who knows, maybe it pumps on its own out of nowhere. Yeah, see what Bitcoin's doing now. Miho, render. Why would you buy Litecoin? Just buy what everyone else is buying. Yeah, I mean, if the chart looks good, but indeed it's Litecoin, like it's like ADA. I got in at 66, but I feel like it's lacking a lot as well. 66. Ah, that's a nice entry. I mean, if it's just a small bag, why not hold, you know? 66 is a very good entry. Down here. Yeah. I probably would have sold some at range high here. But yeah, if you're still in right now, might be good to just hold on to it. Low time frame, maybe sweep some lows here and there, you know, something like this, and then back to the highs. But ultimately I think we see 130 plus this high here. You see this daily low, last week's high, probably not gonna flush much lower than last week's high on the first go, in my opinion. So this could be a good buy somewhere here. OP I was watching on the daily because it broke out of there, but right now, like, if it wicks this low and gets a very good push back up and closes strong above, then I could see it go for new highs. But if it closes below here, that would be concerning, because then this would become the sweep, and then I think we revisit these lows all the way in here. That's my thoughts on OP. ARB. Yeah, I mean, was looking very strong. It's been trying to break above this $2.2 resistance for ages. And I think once it does, it will run hard. But I think it could also, yeah, especially if Bitcoin nukes further, could see this revisit this gray box. But down there would be a very good buy, my opinion. Render. Oh damn. Not liking it that much, because this was your lower time frame range with your demand here. Yeah, could go for one more sweep in there and then bounce. But if that doesn't hold, I think it's all the way back towards here. FTM. Yeah, not a fan, to be honest. Like, this area in general is pretty damn pivotal. As you can see, resistance broke above support. Now it's wicking in there again. We already swept these highs, and the weekly swept last week's high. And current weekly not looking that healthy, with not much of a wick to the downside. So yeah, see, I wouldn't be surprised if this trades back at least towards there, and that might be a good entry, but probably wouldn't enter right here. I mean, I definitely wouldn't. Yeah, Bitcoin's going for it now. Let's give us a 10% flush. That would be awesome. Is it true that alts who crash the hardest pump the hardest after? Nah. I wouldn't say so. All depends on what you're watching. I mean, it does make sense if you mean, like, for example, Yup. I mean, I don't want to talk about this because you know I traded this. But for example, on wicks like this, where it's to an all-time low, right, after listing, and then sweeping a ton of lows, aggressive wick, those are the ones you want to be buying. But it's not like if inch or if, I don't know, for newer coins in general, like those are the dips you want to be buying. But for just in general, I wouldn't say that the alts who crash the hardest will pump the hardest after. Let's see what Matic is doing. See? Luckily, I see this was the long I was in. Closed half at the highs, at the literal highs, and then the other half like here this morning. And look at this. Same for Sol. Damn. Right, but I think I'll hop off. I want to watch this and set some bits maybe. Look to long some stuff. So I'll hop off. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something maybe. It's always the same, you know. Take it easy, reduce. Whenever you feel like you have a lot of profit, take some off, you know. And that's how you stay in the game. Also make sure that whenever, at any point, whenever Bitcoin nukes 30%, that you're not gonna get liquidated, you know. That's not how we do it for the long term, right? But anyways, exciting times for sure. A lot of volatility, which is definitely much more exciting, whether it's up or down, than a market like we had in here or here, right? So take it easy, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks to PrimeXBT. Leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to my YouTube. And if you want to join the Discord, use the link in the description and make a deposit and we'll get you added. All right, see you in the next one. Bye.